Good evening, Dhamma friends. Wish you all the blessings of the Noble Triple Gem to study Dharma in this Sutta study class and move forward from the Samadhi, Sila and Panya you are in into a very super peaceful state, the same Dhamma and Vinaya. With that blessings, we are going to start today's Sutta study class. Let me begin by paying homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times in Pali and also in English. Please join with us and everyone in this platform to study the Dharma as the uttered by the Buddha for our benefits and also our relatives and friends. Let me recite the noble virtues of the Buddha in short by Namo Tassa. So let's join with me. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dhamma friends, it's a great pleasure to be with you in this virtual Dhamma discussion. As you know, this is designed to share our insight on different discourses in the name of the Buddha's teaching and help each other with our knowledge and experience. And you also participate in the program with the same intention so that this community is Kalyanamitta community, and whatever you say in the name of sharing, help others to think about the Dharma in numerous ways so that we invite everyone to come forward and share the insight as you think, especially in times you have question and concern. This would be, I believe this wouldn't be the last Sutta study class for 2022. I think of having another class next week. If time is permitting me to do so, I'm very happy to do. Anyway, these days the temples are busy and people are also busy with different things in life, so that we are not in a position to tell now what exactly we are going to do next Saturday. Anyway, I'm hopeful to continue our Sutta studies despite the year end and other activities related to the year end. So today's Sutta discussion is about a particular discourse that tells us about Samadhi. Samadhi Bhavana Sutta from Anguttara Nikaya 4th is a very important discourse to understand the Samadhi and its scope and what can we do in the Samadhi, when we are in the Samadhi and out of Samadhi, and also why did the Buddha tells us practicing Samadhi along with any meditation subject. So it is 1 hour and 15 minutes or 20 minutes time we have for this discussion, but the scope of Samadhi in the Buddha's teaching covers many discourses and many aspects of the Dharma, so that we may not be able to cover everything about it. And when we get out of suttas, there are a lot of Dhamma discussion going on in commentary, sub-commentary, and also people's interpretation in the name of books are there. So they all talk about Samadhi. So when we talk about Samadhi, we have theoretical understanding about Samadhi, and some people have both theory and practice, and some people may not be able to understand what Samadhi is. But anyway, try your best to taste it with the Dhamma you know so far. And I would say that it is one of the main section of the wholesome Dhamma in the entire teachings of the Buddha. So that giving some time to understand what samadhi is and how samadhi help us studying on the path is really important for us. I think I managed to send you a link of a particular of the Samadhi Sutta translated by Bhikkhu Tanisaroho, so that you are now aware of what the Samadhi Sutta is. Samadhi Sutta in Anguttara Nikaya section 4 and Sutta number 41 is called Samadhi Bhavana Sutta. So this Samadhi Bhavana Sutta is significant because it tells us the purpose, a kind of things we can do with the Samadhi. In other words, for uses or benefits of Samadhi. When we come to English translation, the common word we use, whether it is right or wrong, is concentration. But some monks do not agree with this English term concentration for Samadhi, because they say that concentration means quite similar to being able to, seeing things as, in a kind of, it is going with similar to mindfulness, but Samadhi is mental unification. It means more than concentration. The word concentration is being used in different contexts for different purposes. However, the mental unification or unification of mind is quite good for translating Samadhi. Anyway, sometimes we need a scholarly point of view to understand the depth of some concept. Sometimes it may be confusing some people, so that we stay in the middle. We do not want to have hair-splitting arguments, but what we want is to bring the idea of Samadhi, bring the idea of Dhamma on particular words and section of the Dhamma. So Samadhi Bhavana Sutta, as I said, mentioned 4 uses or benefits of Samadhi. If I tell you this in simple term, it would help you understand more. The Samadhi the Buddha talk about in the Noble Eightfold Path, or in other section of the 37 factors of enlightenment, is mainly talking about the mind away from hindrances. Wherever and whenever a bhikkhu or bhikkhuni or layperson striving with something, there you see the mind moves from busy nature to a very peaceful state of mind. So if he or she is able to look it from the lines of the Dhamma, he would say that, okay, my mind is now in Samadhi. There are no hindrances in my mind, so that it is the first jhana, I would say, so that he or she can understand the situation of the mind exactly as the Buddha said. But some people are there who do not word this, who cannot explain this, because they have no that type of theoretical background. However, due to condition that it gives, they have entered into the jhanic experiences, or what do you call the big umbrella term Samadhi, so that they experience it. So there would be such things happen. If I recall you a story from Dhamma book, as I remember, it is it's a book written in Anuradhapura period. I can remember the book's title. There is a story in that a blind mother was at home while the children and grandchildren went to a puja at the greater stupa Ruangwali Sai. So this mother who is blind is so devoted to the reflection of the Buddha qualities, Dhamma qualities, and Sangha qualities. She is such a person. So now children and grandchildren and everybody else at home have gone to the vihara for special puja and the sermon, and this mother being at home, listen to the sound of the bell, and she can think of the great stupa from her previous experiences while she was not blind, so that her Shraddha arose in a huge and powerful way, so that she was able to overcome 5 hindrances along with some other skills, and she could lift her body from the ground and worship, went up in the sky and worship the Ruangalistipa. I'm not telling you that this is just because of first jhana or being away from hindrances. She had other skills as well, but the more at that moment she could do that because of being able to suppress hindrances and attain first jhana. No, there is no indication in the story that she had explained the nitty-gritty details of her mind. So this is an example in some Dhamma discussion to show that some people attain first jhana or samadhi, not knowing the theoretical background of it, and how they might be unable to explain to somebody about their path, about their practice, like the text says, but they would be explaining to you how blissful it is. So having said that, I just want to tell you that dwelling, for the samadhi, as we talk, the first category is samadhi that brings about dwelling happily here and now. This is about the 4 jhanas. So one samadhi is bringing about happiness and joy, ditta dhamma sukha vihara, the Pali word we use, and it helps the practitioner to experience 4 jhanas and ditta dhamma sukha vihara. Right now, you experience joy and happiness. And the samadhi that brings about knowledge and vision is another thing. In Pali text, it says, samadhi bhavana bhavita bahulikata jnana dasana patilabhaya sangvatati. If you practice the second category of samadhi as said in the sutta, the result is jnana dasana patilabhaya, knowledge and vision. We can go into details of them later on, but right now just understand one samadhi, or the samadhi that you practice, is bringing you experiences of 4 jhana, and the whole lots there is being happy right now. It's for temporary attainments, temporary purposes, but there is a samadhi that somebody attains to gain jnana dasana patilabhaya, knowledge and vision. This is one occasion where somebody develops extraordinary skills like clairvoyance and divine eye, and being able to read others' mind and so forth. And the other one is, the third one, samadhi bhavana bhavita bahulikata sati sampajanyaya sangvatati. The other one, as we talk about here, is the samadhi that brings about mindfulness and clear comprehension. My mindfulness, sati, sampajanya, clear comprehension. So that talks about the, cultivation with regard to that is the perception of impermanence. Then the fourth one, samadhi bhavana bhavita bahuli kata asavanang kayaya sangvattati. So samadhi that brings about the destruction of mental influxes or defilement and all kinds of worries, kilesas have gone with this as a result of this practicing samadhi. And basically there with that samadhi, what you do is watching the rise and fall of all aggregates. So these are the summarized version of what the Buddha said there in the discourse. As you read the discourse, you can see that in the first paragraph, and later we can find in the discourse the definition and description or details of each category. Let me read the first one. What is the development of samadhi that, when developed and pursued, leads to a pleasant abiding in the here and now? There is the case where a monk, quite withdrawn from sensuality, withdrawn from unskillful qualities, enters and remains in the first jhana, rapture and pleasure born from withdrawal, accompanied by directed thought and evaluation. So you see that the Buddha talks about the first jhana and the second jhana, third jhana, and fourth jhana here. So the development of samadhi here is to experience the four jhanas, as said in the samadhi, samma samadhi in the noble eightfold path. So I invite you to understand the four jhana in details, and also practice meditation to experience four jhanas, because it is the safest mental experience for you to make your path forward from there. Last week, not last week, before last week, we had a discussion at the last couple of minutes of the Sutta discussion, whether the jhana experiences help anyone to do vipassana from there. So we had a very brief discussion, and if we can continue that discussion today as well, it would be really helpful for everyone. So when we say that it is the place or the mental experience that somebody can see through the nirvana, it is right, because there you don't have the maras or the evil ones influence there, because the influence of the mara or the evil thoughts happen when only you have five hindrances. But from at the attainment to the first jhana, you have done with that, so that within the scope of samma samadhi or four jhanas, you are not having any trouble at all. But there is no guarantee, because if you look at the suttas where the Buddha talks about the Venerable Sariputta, Venerable Moggallana's practice of Dhamma for full enlightenment, there the Buddha talks about the maturity of each jhana. So unless you achieve maturity on each jhana, there is a chance of those defiled state come in. So that each of us wants to stay a longer period with the first jhana and master on it, and then you will see how fragile that mental state, how sankata, I mean conditioned, how conditional that state, so that there is a great possibility for you to go to the next level of samadhis in a safe way and sustain there. So the greater discussion we had 2 weeks ago is that samadhi has that ability to stay in it and do vipassana. In the tradition, there are mixed thought on that. One idea is that in samadhi, except first jhana, there is no ability of thinking, because vitaka vichara is gone with the first jhana, and there is no vitaka vichara in the second, third, and fourth, and so forth. So that doing vipassana is impossible when you are in the jhana. Another, you know, interpretation is that yes, however, there is a kind of ability there in the jhana to do that. For example, because the Pali word the suttas explain is upaparikkati. So I would like to refer some suttas here for that, the Mahamalunke Putta Sutta, and also sutta like what do you call Pabbata Pabbataya Gavi Sutta in Samyutta Nikaya, and many other suttas tells that you see the very jhanic mind as impermanent and unsatisfactory and non-self, so that is the even Attakanagara Sutta. So I am for both, because in one sense you can see that when you are in the center of jhanic experiences, you are not in the positions to get out of it, because it is so gorgeous, and you are in a kind of absorption. Another word translators use for samadhi, for jhana, is absorption. So you absorb to something which your capabilities have been suppressed into a great extent, so that the emerging means not completely coming out of it, but within the scope of samadhi you have an ability, it just like this. Suppose you go to Toronto from Ottawa, or from Toronto to Ottawa on 401 highway. So you are going to the direction you want to go by 110 kilometers per hour. So in each 80 or 75 kilometers, you have en route. En route means service station. So after 1 hour driving or 2 hours driving, let's say that it takes 5 hours to go from one end to the other end. So you have 4 service stations. So you stop each station for water or coffee or washroom, or just to get some rest. So while you are driving, you are moving faster, and when you stop the car in the service area, you are resting. You are having a so good feeling. Right? After a couple of minutes, you get out of it and get to the road again and drive on the same speed. Then in another 100 kilometers, you stop the same type of service station and do the same thing. Likewise, these jhana in Samma Samadhi are station where you experience utter bliss and kind of sukha. In each jhana, you have something to let go of. And however, they are in the scope of jhana, and you have different type of experience, so that when you are in the service station, you are not driving. You cannot see what is going on 10 kilometers away from the service station, because you know what exactly you have over there, and you are physically resting and taking some mental and physical energy to continue your driving. This example that I created after pondering and thinking on how I explain this, I came to this analogy. If what I want to say is here that yes, I agree with that. In the jhanic experiences, when you are in there is a kind of inaction of full potential vipassana, because you are type of resting and having joy, pleasure, and so forth. So when you say that you are come out of it, it doesn't like you are with the examples, you are coming to the path with the jhanic experiences immediately. So when you come out of the highway, you are speeding, you are forwarding, you are moving. Likewise, when you come out of jhana, it means that you have jhanic pleasure residue in your mind, and you turn to the jhana qualities which were you were in, and you see that they are impermanent, because you have a memory also. You have the memory about what you have what you did, so that you know what exactly it is, how you enter into it, how you stay there into a certain extent, because you have been there for number of time, so that you see what exactly it is, and you see also how jhanic qualities are gone from you, so that you see the impermanence. So it does mean to me, this is my personal experience, it does to me that we are not that full qualities of jhana, but you are circling in jhana and see the impermanence of it. For example, let me tell you this in from another examples. So we put the water cup in a hot basket with hot water or let's say that we make a tea and pour it into our cup, and we finish the tea. Now there is no hot tea in the cup, but the cup is still warm enough. So even the water is gone, it is over there. Suppose you cook something on the cooker, and then you remove it from that, and still the the pot you use is hot. Likewise, as soon as you out of jhana, out of those jhana, jhanic qualities, you are still have that essence in your mind. You still have that power of jhana in your mind. When we talk about samadhi bala, this is the very important place. Samadhi indriya, when we come to five spiritual faculties, samadhi indriya is the quality of jhana. Everybody has this quality. If you accept the Buddha as your teacher and the Dharma as your so-called principles, and then you respect the Sangha and you practice Arihant Sila, so you have given enough fuel for the five spiritual faculties to start growing there, so that you have Samadhi Indriya. Now it is growing. At some point, while you practice Dhamma in day-to-day life, you have chances of defiled state. So now when they come in as upakilesa, you have type of ability to fight with these upakilesa outside and defeat them. That means, friends, samadhi indriya, the faculty of samadhi or concentration, as popularly saying, has become a bala. How do we understand indriya, the differences between the indriya and bala? Indriya has become developed into a certain extent to push all these unnecessary things back, so that the indriya has become bala. So when you are in jhana, you stay there because it is a type of mentality. You enter yourself in, and then when you come out of it, your power of jhana doesn't go quickly. In commentaries, we see some stories like some ascetics in the forest never gone to the villages or cities. They have been meditating for a long time and experienced samadhi with different jhanic experience for a long time, and one day ascetic with psychic power goes through sky, and he saw Narilata flower. I don't know what is the English term for this. It's that flower is like a woman's body. So even seeing that type of things, he he got his jhanic experiences was gone due to sensual pleasure he developed by seeing the woman like flower, and that kind of stories are found in the commentaries, but that is not the jhana Buddha talks about in suttas. The jhana Buddha talks about is always supported by right understanding, right thinking, and right effort, right mindfulness, so that it could not be broken in such a way. But there is the possibility of diminishing the power of Samma Samadhi or jhana, and it has happening in a slow motion, like it doesn't go quickly, depending on people, definitely. So what I wanted to say is that as soon as you came out of jhana, still you have that memory, still you have that experience, that power, so that you can easily, within the scope of jhana, you have ability to look at the very jhana you were in and practice vipassana, practice anicca dukkha anatta on the particular jhana experience. Because in Malunkya Putta Sutta, if I can get it right now, I will exactly show it to you. In Malunkya Putta, it says, Rupagatang, Vedanagatang, Sanyagatang, Sankargatang, Vinyanagatam. In that particular jhanic mind, what we have is still aggregates. For example, suppose we are in the first jhana, or let's say that you are in second jhana or third jhana. What you experience is nothing but the aggregates. So you see these form, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness, and you understand that they are impermanent because they came to existence due to causes and condition, and leaving from this jhana is better, is beneficial, and what are the word Buddha use? Sabba sankara samato, sabbu padipati nissaggo, tannakkayo virago nirodho nibbana. So these are made by, these are conditioned by, and so our discussion was whether we could do vipassana in the jhana. I am for these two types of opinion. Sometimes it is impossible, depending on people. But when you came out of it, that's the place where Venerable Sariputta and also the Buddha says that you have to master on it. If you master on it, master on jhana and came out of it, doesn't happen anything wrong. So you are able to do vipassana within the scope of jhana. Let's say that some people attain Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arhan state while listening to the sermons, while questioning, while also reflecting, and so forth. So there is no indication in the suttas that they attain to first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana extensively, but they had the quality of samadhi. So they had the quality of samadhi, and so that quality of samadhi, with that quality of samadhi, you have no doubts, you have no, what you call the sense of I, me, and myself, so that crossing over from normal state to Sotapanna state is possible for these people and other attainments. So that is called Panya Vimutta. It could be either Ubbatopago Vimutta, because look at Venerable Sariputta. Venerable Sariputta attained full enlightenment while he was listening to a sermon given by the Buddha to Diganaka that was about the Vedana. So the Venerable Sariputta was close to the Buddha. As I remember, he was fanning the Buddha time to time. So he had experienced all kinds of jhana before, so that that experience helped him to understand the impermanence of jhanic experience. For example, if I take the examples of going from Toronto to Ottawa, or Toronto to Ottawa to Toronto, I think many of you, except those friends from Sri Lanka, have gone through this road. Now, if I mention some names like Kingston or Belleville or Oshawa, you exactly remember those places if you have a good memory. So right now you can think about those places because you have gone to these places. Likewise, Venerable Sariputta did not want to go to those first jhana, second jhana. Actually, in Anupada Sutta it is said, but for some people, I would say that they have that memory. That memory is enough for them to bring the theory of impermanence and unsatisfactoriness and non-self with regard to jhana to let go of that particular mental state. So far I was explaining some factors for something we had last discussion. So there are various interpretation on that. Anyway, with my understanding, jhana is so enticing and very gorgeous experience. If you attend to jhana, whether you stay there longer or not, for you will feel so pleasant and doing more on the dharma even after a couple of hours of it. Suppose you practice meditation and attain jhana, and then you come out of meditation, you go to kitchen and cook. Still, that pleasure of jhana is existing in you, so that you should be able to apply impermanence and also unsatisfactoriness and three types of observation on vipassana to jhanic experiences in order to move forward for the destruction of craving. So the theory says something. Sometimes the way you experience would be different, but it is, I'm not making a controversial point here that what the text says is not what we experience. It's not what my point. Sometimes the way you experience would be in a different way. That's why we have Pachattang Veditabbo Vinyoheti. People who have wisdom experience the Dharma in different way. So I think that is very remarkable, because Dharma is such so that we may be experiencing them in different way. Anyway, friends, Samadhi is such a wonderful thing. It is included in the Noble Eightfold Path because it requires for everyone to taste nirvana and to try out of letting go of asava. So because breaking asava and freeing your mind from asava is a very difficult thing. So that jhanic experiences provide you the platform to do it. So back to the sutta. So yeah, in the second paragraph, Buddha talks about the four jhanas, and when you attain to four jhana, just through meditation, basically we see that monks and nuns and lay people, even Ugga, Hattigama Ugga and Velukantaki, Nandamata, and many other lay practitioners attain to four jhanas at once, at will, because they have practiced, just to experience bliss out of those hustle bustle busy nature. So even arahants, even the Buddha attained to four jhanas to experience that bliss of nirvana. In Anapana, about Anapana Sati, Buddha talks about in Anapana Sati Sangyutta, when I am away from preaching, walking, eating and sleeping and conversation with monks, and what I was doing is attaining to Samma Sati Samadhi. So Samadhi through in and out breathing. So the Buddha and Arahants constantly attain to these jhana just because they experience bliss and happiness. That's why it's called ditta dhamma sukha vihara. But samadhi as a entire thing is not only for that. Samadhi is also help for individual to gain knowledge and vision. That knowledge and vision is about extra sensory experiences like clairvoyance and divine eye, divine ear, making some miracles and so forth. So it is said in the Dharma that one attain to four jhana. So first, second, third, and fourth. In the fourth jhana, your mind is very pure. Equanimity, mindfulness, and samadhi also is has been in the matured play, highly matured position, so that you can direct your mind into different skills. Evan samahite chitte mudubute kammaniye. Evan samahite chitte mudubute kammaniye. Anenjapatte. So these are the qualities of the Buddha's mind when he attained to fourth jhana, and it is not different when the other attain to fourth jhana as well. So that evan samahite chitte, when the mind is concentrated or unified, evan samahite chitte mudubhute, it has become so soft or inclining to the truth of the fourth jhana, and paryodate, very bright, clean, no problem at all in that mind, so that your mind is imperturbable, anenjapatte, so that you can direct your mind to different skills, being able to communicate with others. You should have divine eye, and listen to other sounds that normally human cannot do, and samadhi is for that purpose as well, and some people develop that samadhi. So start with aloka sanya. Aloka sanya means when you close your eyes, you can imagine flame of a candle or a brilliant light from a bulb or something like the sun, or something like that, so that you can expand that red color or orange color light in your mind further. So now your consciousness is working on entirely on that flame or red or orange color. So your mind has now, even though you are at night in thick darkness, now your mind is illuminated, bright, brilliant. So during the daytime, in the hot sun, under a tree or in a kuti, you can also have the same thing, and the ability is there that you can perceive that the night as daytime, daytime as night. So you don't see any difference because your mind has been trained into that. So that is that because your mind has been unified into the perception of light, so that you expand it on light, and that is called samadhi. So there you direct your mind to those abilities like clairvoyance and other skills. So samadhi, there is samadhi like that, and there is no saying in that you need to practice first jhana, second jhana, and so forth. See how the Buddha explained this, and Arahants, they have experienced all of them without any problem, and that's why they are saying us. And perhaps you could have great Shraddha on the Buddha, how he could know this. No, Bodhisattva developed this thing. Not only, when he attained to Buddhahood and finished it, he didn't have anything to, add new into his experience. He developed all these things before and putting the seal on it, putting the confirmation happened when he attained to Asavakya, so that we can understand that the Bodhisattva was such a great practitioner on each Dhamma elements into, I would say, 90%, 80%. So at the time of the Buddha attaining Buddhahood, he completed everything. So then we go to the third one, and that jhana, the development of concentration that when developed and pursued leads to mindfulness and alertness. Here, Bhikkhu Thanissaro used the word alertness or clear comprehension, as we read before. There is the case where feelings are known to the monk as they arise, known as they persist, known as they subside. So, Upada Titibang. So, with regard to Vedana, you see a rising of Vedana, any type of Vedana, and then you say it exists for a certain period of time, and then you say the leaving of this feeling from your experience, from your. So, perception are known to him as they arise, perception as they persist, known as they subside. So, Sanya. Vidita Vedana Upajjanti, Vidita Sanya Upajjanti, and then you have Vitakka and something like that. So three types of things are discussed here. Let me get it back. Feeling, perception, and thoughts, Vitakka, are known to him as they arise, known as they persist, known as they subside. So it's a mixture of a very clear samadhi to see the arising of feeling, arising of perception, arising of vitakka. So, so with this samadhi, you have clear comprehension and sati, and then you see the destruction or three occasion of feeling and perception and also vitakka. So this is the third type of samadhi. Now do you see that samadhi is there for practicing vipassana also? In the four jhanas, we have this essence, but I agree with the fact that when you are in the higher top level of four jhanas, you may be having some difficulties doing it unless you are, supported by all kinds of practices. But samadhi is one thing when we talk about, in categories like Bala Indriya and Bojjanga, and then we have the Samadhi, Samma Samadhi, and so forth. So it's a widespread, very deep quality, so that at some point of Samadhi, we can do such things. So Samadhi helps for one to see the true nature of aggregate of feeling, aggregate of sanya, aggregate of particular vitakka and vichara, and so also. So then in the fourth one, so samadhi help one to destroy all kinds of cankers with regard to five aggregates. So asava, the very word Bhikkhu Thanissaro used here is affluence. The asava or canker, they are just like garbage. They are just like dirty things. They are very bad, smelly things. That's why he uses this word. So asavas are something always flowing from outside to in, and inside there we have that glue-like things to get them and attached, so that asa was always something moving, something taking us to different levels of existence. So the kamasa, bhavasa, dittasa, avijjasa. So 4 type of vasavas are there. So basically 3, but we added dittas as well also. So anyway, they are very powerful, and the samadhi helps, particularly those disciples who attain to a stage of enlightenment, to destroy those clinging upadana, and in other words asava. So that is what samadhi does. And now we know that samadhi, when we talk about the I think the differences come in as the way we approach. In Chulavedalla Sutta, we have the uh, 3 kinds of sankaras, and Bhikkhu Dhammadina explained to his former husband Visakha, who was also a non-returner, and Bhikkhu Dhammadina was an arahant. And she was explaining Visakha the way one attained to Sanya Vedaita Nirodha. And there he clearly explained how 3 kinds of sankaras are gone when one attains to Sanya Vedaita Nirodha. As you see, first sankara that is gone is Vitakka Vichara. When one leave from first jhana to second jhana, that happens. And when one leave from, as I remember, when one leaves from fourth jhana, kaya sankara, what we call in and out breathing ability is gone. And when one attains to Sanya Vedana, the Sanya Vedana are also gone. And when somebody come out of Sanya Vedana, what you get first is the what you suppress at last. So that is the kind of explanation given to how one attain to Sanya Vedaita Nirodha. But we cannot see that this type of approach to Dharma, when the Buddha explained only 4 jhanas, and how one attained to a stage of non-return or arahantship based on the jhanas. So that we have different, in my personal understanding, I do not disagree with any of those things, because there may be different ways of using jhana, and being able to attain enlightenment could happen using jhana experiences, samadhi experiences in different ways. So that I keep my mind open for everything. It doesn't mean that I am confused, but I would like to keep my mind open for that. So in the sutta, if we go back to the sutta, so we come across that the Buddha concluded of explanation of Samadhi Bhavana Sutta by saying these important things. And at last, he said, he reminded monks about Punnaka's question. So that is in Sutta Nipata. In the Sutta Nipata, discourses are not like discourses in other Nikayas. They have no any additions of Venerable Ananda into these discourses. Though Venerable Ananda went around in Visala city by reciting the importance of Triple Gem, he did not add Evam Me Sutang into Ratana Sutta, and Karane Metta Sutta we don't find it, and many other suttas are recorded without Venerable Ananda's statement there. So that scholarly view is that the Sutta Nipata is the oldest teachings of the Buddha. But you see that Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta is in Samyutta Nikaya. So we have a lot of such issues, but we are if you are not a scholar in Buddhism, don't follow those scholarly things that makes your mind further complicated, but try meditation in the name of Noble Eightfold Path and bring samadhi into experience. If you find easy there to reflect the Dharma more and more, do it. But remember to master your jhanic experiences further, because there are a lot of other things that damage your samadhi unless you master on it. So that develop samadhi to experience it and understand what it is, and that would be the best way to find some answers to some questions. So at the end of the discourse, Buddha reminded bhikkhus there that I stated in Punna's question in the way to the far shore. I will tell you this Punna's questions to attain nirvana, the Ogatarana, and it is said, he who has fathomed the far and near in the world, for whom there is nothing perturbing in the world, his vices evaporated, his bad things are evaporated, undesiring, untroubled, at peace. He, I tell you, has crossed over birth and aging. So that is how we end the sutta. But there may be many things to discuss based on the sutta, based on what I say. So let's take time for that. Yes, Chandrani Nona has raised her hand. Please unmute and talk about what.
Yeah, it was like this coming down from the jhana levels. I had the same question when I was at Parapaduva, and my teacher down near Ariyadhamma Swamin Wahanse, he said it is not that really coming down, it is changing the attention that you pay. Like if I'm in the fourth jhana, he said you can pay attention to anicca dukkha anatta. If it is in the first jhana, just to pay attention to elements. And he showed us how each jhana we can change the attention. Now, to get into the jhana, he wanted us to do like mastering, like first we go to 1, 2, 3, 4. Then he said 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, like that. We had to practice in a really good way, so that immediately when you focus from your jhana level, it is not coming down. It is a sort of the base is there, but focusing on either elements or anicca dukkha anatta of the 5 aggregates or whatever that you are using. It could be done up to the Udeva, like rising and passing away, seen real Udeva. First it's the immature level and then the mature level. And I thought it is difficult to explain this coming down thing. That's what the monk explained to us.
Yeah, this is, there is a great discussion on this throughout centuries because in the Pali text, iti upaparikkati. So that is one word right after jhana we use in Pali. And then when it comes to Sinhala translation in 1956, it says uttahi, coming out of jhana. In Sinhala, coming out of it. In English word emerging. So the very word in English, it's emerging means coming out. It doesn't mean that, as you said, coming out, but it's kind of you find a safer place within the scope of jhana to see the jhana itself. I like what Venerable Nayuni Aridam Thero said. I cannot remember what exactly Katakurunde Nyananda Thero said about this, because I questioned about this once I visited him in 2015, actually, several months before his passing away. Anyway, I was telling Dr. Pial a few days ago that suppose we go to a room, we go to a house, and we see the interior shape of the house, like walls, cupboards, and so now we are well aware of what exactly this house from the interior outlook. So we came out and see the house outside of the house. So suppose you are in the garden. When we say that, when we say that where that person is, still we can say that that person is at home, because he is in the yard where the house is located. Likewise, we can enter into first jhana or second jhana and third jhana and fourth jhana. It's a scope. It's a, if a, metaphorically, it is a kind of huge place, and you can stay in the middle of it or at the corner. Just let's say that you came out of jhana, exactly out of jhana. Still, you have that jhanic pleasure and experience, just to experience the impermanence of it, because you were there 1 minute ago or 30 seconds ago. Now you see that jhanic experience I had was ended, it is gone, so it is impermanent. So as you said, the way you think about it, the attention you change your attention would be something good, just to understand. So that's why I was open for both interpretation, because either one is able for some people, because at the end what you have been doing is practicing impermanence. So we can see that some monks not necessarily practice first jhana, second jhana, and then they take anicca, dukkha, anatta at once. But at the same time, over the course of impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and unself practice, they come across samma samadhi, because nobody can get out of, nobody can go to sotapanna, sakadagami, anagami, arhan state, leaving samma samadhi in the noble eightfold path. So when it is clear that the samma samadhi is 4 jhanas, at least the glimpse of each jhanic experiences come to that particular person who practice Suska Vidarshana before the attainment to Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arhan state. So that is what I understand. And depending on people's experience, the way people, interpret it would be different. So we have to accept that. Thank you very much for your addition. And I can see that Dr. Vimal from Sri Lanka has raised his hand. Please take your time.
Bhante, I see in the English translation, it does not talk about coming out of the jhana. It says, and what is the development of concentration that when developed and pursued leads to the ending of the effluent. There is the case where the monk remains focused and on arising and falling away with reference to the 5 clinging aggregates. I see the same thing in the Pali text as well. Apart from that, Bhante, I see in the Mahamalukya Sutta, even being in the first jhana, you can get into this position and do the asavakya. Does not have to come to 4th jhana. First, second, third, fourth, from any jhana can do the asavakya as per the Mahamalukya Sutta.
Yeah. Yes, not here in this sutta they use the word coming out of jhana, but in some translation, English and Sinhala, they use the word, emerging. The very word emerging is meaning that you are coming out of jhana. And in Sinhala, you may be hearing a lot that monks from Sri Lanka, they are talking about coming out of jhana. Monks from Burma, Thailand, they would be talking about coming out of jhana. Though they say it, my personal understanding is that it's not completely coming out of it, because when you come out of it completely, I mean, you are either, unless you are an enlightened person, you are again in 5 hindrances. So with 5 hindrances, you are unable to do vipassana exactly as it is. But right after, suppose something happened to you. For example, you attain to first jhana, and now in the meditation with, let's say, anapanasati, so you recognize your mind, and there you have jhana qualities, piti, sukha, ekaggata, vitakka, vichara. So now you recognize them. So then suppose you are in the third jhana, you recognize that upekka. So now you want to go because your teacher calls you or your daughter needs you. So when you get out of it, uh, accordingly, you are still having that bliss for a certain period of time. So like the cup we warm, the warmness of the cup is gone accordingly, not at once. So that even if you come out of it, there is a great chance of doing vipassana. But what is we are focusing is those very suttas doesn't show uttahita, the very word coming out of from jhana in Pali is uttahitva, but we don't see it from discourses, but we see it from commentaries, we see it from interpretations. So that's
Excuse me,
why
Bhante.
I always cautious about it, because those monks who made commentaries are very educated. Maybe they have experienced this kind of jhana, so that we cannot reject it. And there may be certain things that we have not come across yet sometimes, because different individuals have different skills and so forth. But as you said, yes, very Sutta says, Malunki Sutta says that there you see the very jhanic mind as impermanent and unsatisfactory and non-self. Anichang, what are the Pali words? Aditya Samuppannang, Sankaragatang, and so forth. So you do that, and there is no indication there. But at the same time, people may experience jhana, and they have that memory in mind, and they think that even jhana is not permanent. Look at the Buddha's way of remembering first jhana he experienced as a child at the Bodhi under the Bodhi tree on the day he was taking the final flight for enlightenment. He remembered that the jhanic experiences I had as a child would be the road or the path or the avenue for enlightenment. So that he recalled it. So he was not in the first jhana to understand. And there are numerous occasions and examples there that some monks was not in that particular jhanic experiences, but they make sure to attain stages of enlightenment. So that's why even Bhikkhu Bodhi and Bhante Gunarathan, and of course the late Venerable Kusuma, and another monk is Bhajan Brahman. They are very good monks in jhanic experiences, and I recommend books of those monks about jhana to read further understanding. So they always are cautious about saying this, that it could be basically samadhi qualities there. No matter you attain to first jhana and experience so much on that and so forth, but the umbrella term is samadhi, right? So again, you have, when you say samadhi, you should have 4 jhanas, but there would be some monks who may not be experiencing 4 jhanas exactly as those monks who experience it and attain enlightenment. So there would be differences in those samadhi experiences.
The suppression of hindrances, 5 hindrances can happen only
Yeah.
when you are in a jhana, no, Bhante?
The two things happen at the same time. Suppressing hindrances
Hindrances.
happens at the same time you enter into first jhana.
First jhana. So if you come out of the jhana or if you go into a different mode, can you believe that suppression is still there on the 5 hindrances?
Yeah, when you go to second jhana, you don't have any problem with the 5 hindrances.
No, what I say
Because-
is if you have to come out of the jhana to do the vipassana in some form of coming out, so the 5 hindrances may come back.
No, not really. That's why I was trying to explain. Even if you come out of jhana, there is a safer place. So, for example, the examples I gave you came out of your house.
don't know who that
You are in the front yard and maybe near the door. You exactly not inside the house, but you say to your friend over the phone, "Still, I am at home." Even at the gate of the of the land, you say, I'm still at the at home. So these examples are only supportive conditions to understand what I'm saying. So even if you come out of jhana, there may be a period where it's a transition period where you are safe. You see those, uh, panchakama or panchanivarana or 5 hindrances, but they are still not in your mind, because as long as you out of jhana, we could not expect those things come out of immediately, but kind of slow falling down from jhanic experiences to 5 hindrances could happen. So that's what I wanted to tell you, that even coming out of it happens in a systematic way.
I think, Bhante, the confusion arises because of the various translations given in English and Sinhala. If you go back to the original Pali text, it says, Katamacha bhikkave samadhi bhavana bhavita bahulikata asvanam kaya sangvatati. Ida bhikkave bhikkhu panchasu upadan skandesu. That's the rise and fall of the 5 aggregates, clinging aggregates. While being in the jhana, it does not talk about coming out or rather reducing or diluting the jhanic experience. I'm
This
sorry.
is why
I'm
this
sorry.
is why some monks,
maybe some other day we can discuss this
Yeah.
again, because
This
we are
is
running
why-
out of time.
yeah, no, this is why we need to understand what samadhi is. Samadhi is the unification of mind. You can unify your mind to kusala. Actually, when we define bhavana, this is coming from commentary. Kusala chittasa ekaggatasa etayati bhavana. So the bhavana means being able to unify your mind on kusala. What is kusala means? Kusala means the ability of your mind to take you out of akusala. What is akusala and kusala means? Anything with regard to lobha dvesa moha is called akusala. Anything with regard to non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion is called kusala. So ekagata. So we make our mind focused on something out of akusala is called samadhi. So samahitang chittang yatabhutam pajanati. So samadhi is required for us to see the truth, because with waving mind we cannot do anything, right? But when you stuff your mind to a particular object, for example, breathing, we take the breathing as a a kind of tools for samadhi. So our mind was in pictures, in sounds, in memories here and there, but we managed to bring our mind onto breathing process. So now we tie our mind to breathing. so that mind doesn't go to any sound, any pictures at all. So mind has unified to breathing. Now, since we tied our mind to breathing, then the capacity of mind to see the whole mind from mind is developing there. So that you see, your mind is talking about the breathing itself and other physical and mental phenomena there, sukha, ekaggata, and so forth. Very word ekaggata is there always. And first jhana
Thank you,
compared to
Bhante.
second jhana is weak.
Thank you,
Sorry?
Bhante. I see Dr. Pial has raised the hand.
Yeah,
Appreciate
I
if we
saw
can
him.
take up this subject again on some other day. Thank you,
Yeah,
Bhante.
we try, we try our best to talk about the theory and also some sort of experiences, but I'm in opinion or a view that whole scope of samadhi could be practiced, then only we can, still we cannot explain it, because some sort of mental experiences like samadhi cannot be explained by words as they experience, as we experience. So yeah, I agree with that. I am forward to. Anyway, samadhi is such a wonderful thing to experience, and when you are there, your mind has unified and not scattered, focused, and bring about certain kusala there. So that is what it is.
Thank you, Bhante.
So I think samadhi quality, when we talk about samadhi, not necessarily into jhana, we may be better, but again, jhana is being explained by the Buddha always, and he asked monks to go to the root of tree and empty places, and also the forest, and practice jhana, because the very word jhana is burning out kilesa, burning out 5 hindrances. Jhana, the very definition is burning out 5 hindrances. And the similar word for this in Satipatthana is atapi. So with right effort, right understanding, right mindfulness, you burn these unwholesomeness, and that's called jhana. So jhanas are 4 pillars, and when 4 pillars come together and put some, and it's called samadhi. So that is how we understand both samadhi and jhana. So anyway, there are a lot of ideas, a lot of things to say. Thank you very much for your questioning and also Pali reading. So now we go to Dr. Pia.
But there, I have a question regarding this particular sutra we were discussing. The 4 results of jhana. I think 3 are pretty clear, but the one which kind of not so clear to me is the concentration that leads to knowledge and vision. I mean, the explanation given here is not so clear. I don't know whether knowledge and vision, is it jnana darshana? Like, what is the Pali term?
I'm going to. Yeah, that's it's jnana darsana patilabhaya.
Okay. So what did it say by the day by? I don't understand. There is a case.
Yeah, that is
perception of light. Is it like
I agree with you. I agree with you totally, and it doesn't clear. This is why we need to go to commentary and sub-commentary and other interpretation.
It's not
and
something like a kasina bhavana, right? Nothing like that.
Indeed. That's what I wanted to tell
like
you.
Kasina.
Yeah, indeed. Aloka Sanya is a kasina, and Dasa kasina. So they are mostly going through kasina meditation. And that is why, today, as it is a good point. Today, we lack of experienced meditators on kasina, so that I think we have no monks and lay people who have different skills like Dibba Sota, Dibba Chakra, and so forth. Because if you look at the entire Tripitaka, how some monks got those different skills even before attainment to enlightenment by practicing Aloka Sanyi, Patavi Kasina, Apo Kasina, Tejo Kasina, Vayo Kasina, and those skills and those meditations. So, as you said,
Perception of light. What does it in the Pali says? The perception of light. Does it in the Pali say something like
Aloka
that?
Sanya. Aloka Sanya. Yeah.
Aloka Sanya. Okay.
Aloka Sanya, yes. Let me tell you this. This is the exact Pali term. Katamacha bhikkhave samadhi bhavana bhavita bahulikata jnana darsana patilabhaya sangvattha. Ida bhikkhave bhikkhu aloka sanyang manasikaroti. So, we, let's say in simple term, we think about brilliant light or any light. You know, those days, monks and lay people don't have electricity like us today. So they particularly use in monasteries oil lamp or whatever lamp. So or either the brilliant, the sun and the moon would be something like that. So that is the aloka, particular aloka sanyi they used. Just like, you know, when you do patavikasina, in monasteries, you use a kind of round shape plate of clay, put it on a table parallel to your eyesight, and you sit around and gaze it as you remember the clay plate, and with closed eyes, without you try to unify your mind, expand your mind on the clay, you know, then you see everything as clay, everything like clay. So likewise, aloka sanya is taken into consideration. Now your mind, I was asking everyone to do this if possible. So look at the, you know, switch off the light in the room and then switch on. Now you see the light. Keep looking at for several seconds like this, and then close your eyes. Now you can see that light in your mind as a mental image. So you pay focus on that. You pay attention on that mental image of the light over and over. No attention given to any other things you hear, but only this image of the light in the mind, chitta rupa, or what you call, rupa. It is rupa kanda. And then your consciousness, what you call vinyana to expand on it, and mind expand on it. That's called so you now you see only light everywhere in your mind. Everywhere means all your mind is covered by that light.
What is the knowledge part comes here? Like, what is knowledge?
Yeah,
I mean,
you know,
I mean,
that
there is some insight there. Is
yeah,
it like
the insight there is that you know that your mind is unified to the light, to the perception of light, so that there is no trouble, any other troubles at all there. So that knowledge is there. That is called knowledge of. This is not the knowledge and vision. This is not the Vijja Vimutti. Actually, Vijja is called also knowledge, but it is not what we are talking about.
I see. I got it. Yes. So it's not the last one is the one where all the way you go. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So there you have the knowledge that your mind is so bright and brilliant and beautiful. So you feel your body relaxed and calm. Tranquility, passaddhi is achieved. So that I'm not in a position to answer how you have how you direct your mind to clairvoyance and other skills, but what the text says is that when you do it over and over for a long time, maybe depending on the personal capacities, you are going to say and know that ability in your mind. That ability is achieved in your mind. That ability is arisen in your mind. Like let's take that example of the Buddha about the hen and the eggs, chicken mother and the eggs. So you gave enough warmth sitting on the eggs for a certain period of time. When you provide the condition for the eggs to incubate, and the chicken, baby chicken, grow in the eggs, and at some point they come out of it, breaking the eggs themselves. And likewise, when you do it over and over with interest, with effort, breaking barriers, you are going to experience something extraordinary at some point of your meditation. And earlier you could not do that. Earlier you did not have that vision. Earlier you did not have that ability, but now you feel that it is there. So that is how those knowledges come into experience, as I understand. So my understanding is that we talk about the sutta with some details, but the very fact samadhi should be learned by as a concept, as a theory in the Buddha's teaching, but the greater part of it should be experienced. That's why we call panya trisiksha. When we talk about trisiksha, three kind of training principles, sila, samadhi, and panya. Samadhi is also a training, also is a restraint point. So we have to practice samadhi, not only sila. We have to practice samadhi and also practice panya. So trisiksha, there are trisiksha. So in the same title is being used for three, so that samadhi should be experienced in order to know the full scope of it. So that friends develop the interest to meditate in this era. With our experience, sitting meditation work for us, but it is said in the text that Chankamana, walking meditation, is also possible for us to do for attaining samadhi and jhana, but I think comparatively it is difficult. And other postures incline you to sleep. Standing position would be fine, because I believe some can do it. I don't know whether you have, whether you remember a particular monk in Sri Lanka near the Bodhi tree and the Ruangwali Dagaba. He has been sitting all day for several hours without any movement, looking at the Bodhi tree as well as the stupa, and meditate. For some people, it is a monk who does nothing but collecting money, so that they put money near the feet of that monk. And he has written a note there, don't put any money over here, I'm not collecting. But it still, people used to throw money into the area where he was standing. Anyway, I take this example. I don't know whether he's living now. I have seen him many times when I visited the Anuradhapura Bodhi tree and also Ruangwali Stupa. This monk was standing, mostly standing and looking at the Bodhi tree and the stupa without any movement for several hours. This monk body is so thin because, as I heard, he is eating only one meal for a day. So that is his paramita, that is his practice. So what I say is here that some can gain concentration or samadhi even by standing position, but for us, sitting meditation would be working better than other postures. So friends, you have heard a lot, you have read a lot, you have that ability to analyze Dhamma in numerous ways. So why do we wait for experiencing samadhi and high level of wisdom? So let's do it. I try my best, and you should try your best too, so that we could be able to experience Nibbana soon. With that in mind, we are going to end today's Sutta discussion. I would say, may you all have peaceful time. Perhaps your friends enjoy the life with holiday things, Christmas things. Don't disappoint your friends by fully away from those things. But if you have to go, go there and do Sammavacha, and analysis is in your own mind. So do it. Perhaps you talk to people, but try your best to keep Sati Sampajanya in mind, Yoniso Manasikara in mind, so that you are not falling into any conclusion, wrong conclusion, and practice Dhamma in such a way. So we should have different formulas made ourselves to apply into different occasions, so that you are not going out of Dhamma. So at least one Dhamma elements could be in mind to reflect always, so that you are not falling into hindrances and other akusala a lot, so that you can continue your Dhamma. And you are reaching to a new year in 2 weeks' time. Today is 17, yeah, nearly in 2 weeks' time. So make a great wish for you and everyone in your family and friends and so forth. These Dhamma practices, either listening to Sutta discussion or participating in the discussion or meditating, they are all wholesome Dhamma practices, and may the merits out of these practices be with you, be with me, and everybody else that I am related, and may they be healthy and peaceful, and may we be attained to those important practices in the new and attain enlightenment. Have this thought in mind to end the today's Sutta discussion. And once again, I say Sukhi Hotu, may you have a happy holiday season. As I said at the beginning, I am forward to do the Sutta discussion next week and also next week. However, I'm also a sort of monk who bound to some day-to-day, duties. If there is anything happen here, I may be informing you about the Sutta study class, particularly in cancelling. Otherwise, I really like to conduct the Sutta study class. As Vimal suggested, we can take the topic again either next week or right after, because we people should have some time to dive into Samadhi and read more, so that my initial impression is that taking this topic should be after several sessions. So that friends, looking forward to meeting you soon. I say good night and may you be well, happy and peaceful.
Sadhu, sadhu,
Sadhu, sadhu,
sadhu,
sadhu.
sadhu.